Oklahoma State running back Ollie Gordon with us at Pro Days in Frisco. Big 12 put this on, and man, I had somebody, when you had that spectacular breakout year, someone said that when you hit the line of scrimmage, you're at full blast, like 2 or 3 steps into it. Is that something you had to learn, or is that just God-given instinct and ability?
I would honestly just say God-given instinct. I would take it as, whenever you catch somebody at the line, you want to go through them. You don't want anybody to go through you, so that's really what it is.
Doak Walker Award, Earl Campbell, Tyler Rose Award. These guys are involved in that committee. Then you got unanimous All-American, Big 12 Offensive Player of the Year. Obviously, this year did not go well for you. Do you feel that, and I'm not, it didn't go well for the team as Oklahoma State, but for you, you were still Ollie Gordon. Do you feel like that maybe some people are sleeping on you a bit more than they would have a year ago? Because, nothing changed with you, brother.
Honestly, yeah, like you said, I feel like they are, just because, I didn't go another 1,700, yards the next year. But I feel like if it was flipped and I went 800 the year before and then 700, then people would have been like, or 1,700, and they would have been like, okay, those are 2 good years back to back. But since it's vice versa, I guess it just doesn't look as good, I'm guessing. But I would feel like, I stayed the same. And, like you said, it just wasn't a great year for us as a team. And, I wouldn't trade my team for the world. I still love my guys, regardless of the outcome of it.
You still had a lot more touchdowns than most people. You still had a lot more than, it's such a weird, knock. If it is not even a knock. But, you just had such a huge year. So what do you think, when you look back at this final year at Oklahoma State, how will you look back on it and just the way things went?
I would just say teams had a better way of game planning for us in 24 instead of 23. 23, they couldn't really game plan because we were still kind of a new team. We had a different quarterback. Well, obviously from our teams, we had the same quarterback, but from 23, it was a different quarterback that they haven't seen. They had us, our running back, our receivers, and, you really didn't know who you were going to get. But, that next year, you definitely knew who was coming.
You played at Trinity.
I did, yes, sir.
And I love high school football. Know the history of that program. The running back. What game? Was there a game when you had 400 yards? Was it South Lake Carroll, Allen? Who was it?
It was Allen.
What was that?
I had to feel good.
Yeah.
Yeah, just especially because of what their record was for those past couple of years. They hadn't really lost a game. So I would just say beating them, it felt good. And I would just say everybody that played Allen was scared to play them. And I would just say that wasn't us.
They have 7,000 students, and they're not quite as good now. But you guys kind of let everyone realize, hey, they put their pants on like we do.
Yeah, true. We did.
But Trinity's got an incredible, the unbelievable tradition.
Yeah, you always got those big poly O linemen.
Yep.
Big poly D linemen, great fullbacks, and some good receivers. So it's hard to beat that.
You're one of the few guys who could go to Oklahoma State, and then your offensive line might be a little bit smaller. Then everybody else is it's well, these guys are big, and you're like, yeah. They're the same for me. Can you still do the haka? And do you ever just get the urge to do it?
Sometimes, I feel like I can still do it.
Okay.
And do I ever get the urge? Yeah, it's kind of hard not to.
Yeah. Look, you score your first touchdown in the NFL, throw a haka out there.
I just might have to. Or a little chihu, one of those.
Yeah. So, Ollie, what did you want to show today? What was this event all about for you?
Really just that, my hands were sure, that I could for sure catch the ball and that I can get my feet up and out the ground and control my direction, stuff like that. Great change of direction. I feel like that was needed, especially with the season we just had.
Yeah. What's this process been like for you? Is what you dreamed of as a kid? Is it, more or less than expected in some ways? How would you describe it?
I would definitely say more. I didn't know we had to go to the doctor during the combine. And I didn't know it was a week long. I thought they'd just go out for a couple of days.
Yeah.
But I didn't know we were there for a week. We had to be at the doctor. Thankfully, I wasn't one of the people at the doctor that long. But I didn't know we had to do all the blood work.
They will find out if you had a broken finger in 3rd grade.
Yeah, I know.
No, they will. So you kind of some things they told you that you didn't even realize, or you're pretty clean?
No, I was clean. I was pretty clean.
I would be weird if they'd be like, "Hey, tell me about tonsillitis." You're like, I was 8.
It's normal. Yeah,
I didn't have to get hit with that one. Thankful for that one.
We had Robert Griffin III on about a month ago, and he was talking about the combine with the 40, and he said that a lot of players are so worn out with everything you have to do even before you get to the 40 with the interviews and all that you sometimes are not full throttle for that particular 1 or 2 times you run. Is that the way it was?
Kinda. Yeah, I would just say I feel like, the whole combine thing is coaches and teams really just want to see how much you can really take and not give up, and that's what I feel like it is. I feel like they might pay attention to a couple 40 times here and there, but I feel like they just want to see how you react to everything.
Is it almost as if they're testing you of what you can take also with questions they ask you too?
Right, yes, sir. I feel like that's exactly what it is.
Like mind games?
Yeah, yeah.
Did you get asked any weird questions that came out of nowhere?
No, not really. Nah.
Yeah, sometimes you hear those like weird questions that they ask, but I think those are maybe kind of getting filtered out because now, like, there used to be no internet, so you could ask somebody a question that wasn't weird.
Right.
And then now, like, somebody's like, hey, they asked me this really weird question that didn't have anything to do with anything, and now they're like, yeah, I better not answer that.
Yeah, yeah. I didn't get any of that. Made me, like, think about it. I was like, I didn't really catch any of those.
Go ahead, Craig.
So, looking back on your time at Oklahoma State, what do you hold most fondly? What will you remember? Not that you won't be back and things like that, but just kind of what will stick with you moving forward as being a Poke, being a Cowboy.
I would just say, all my interactions with Coach Gundy and, how he made us build a brotherhood. And, I wouldn't trade none of them for the world. I love them. And, I'm going to miss them. I mean, some of them are here, actually.
Yeah.
Right.
Especially my boy BP, my boy Shad, and then all our defensive players, Corey, KT. All
Corey
them,
Black's here. Yeah. Waco
Trey
native.
Rucker.
Yep.
You mentioned BP, Brennan Presley. He's a guy who I think is really going to be slept on. He can take over games.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, like this year against Baylor, he had like 13 catches or something ridiculous.
I mean, he had a negative screen caught for like -5 yards and took it all the way to the house. So.
Yeah, and maybe just because of the way that the season went, I think like he too like suffered a little bit. But like if you turn on the film of him, throw the ball, he's going to catch it anywhere he's going to go. He can help somebody, can he?
I would just say that there's not too many people that I would love to turn their film on and just sit there and watch from their first play in college to their last play. But Brennan Presley is one of those players I would do that for.
Tougher than absolute nails, too.
Oh, yeah.
Did you ever, during the season, because the things did not go well, win-loss record and other things as well, did you ever feel criticism? Did that ever bother you? Did that even get to you?
I mean, everybody going to talk mess, even when you're doing good, when you're not doing good. It's just really about the person you are and how you handle it. And I just feel like, most people talk mess because they can't do what we do. Mm-hmm. So, of course, they're going to talk.
How much do you think Mike Gundy's motivated to get this thing back on track?
Oh, I know they're going through it right now. I know all season's been hell for them. But, hey, I mean, that's what comes with it, And Gundy's not one of those that's going to lay down and let it happen again, for sure.
So you had a bunch of big performances in your career. I mean, last year you went on this tear where it was just 150, I think, like every week basically. But that stretch you had with West Virginia and Cincinnati in particular, West Virginia had nearly 300 yards and 4 touchdowns, and then following week was 200 plus and 2 touchdowns. Just did you feel like nobody could tackle you? I mean, basically, what does that feel like when you're just running through defenses like that?
Honestly, it's the best feeling ever, especially when you just out there running and you just know, like, yeah, nobody's going to take me down right here. And it's really just, like I said, doing it for my teammates. Like Coach Gundy, he made us build a bond with each other, and I just feel like that really paid off. Every week or every day of practice, he'll tell us, go talk to 2 people that you don't know and find something new about them,
That's cool.
I imagine that serves you well in real life, too.
Yeah, it does. It helps you whenever you meet somebody new or somebody you don't know and you're able to talk and communicate with them, then it's easier to make friends like that.
He is we heard this from Colin Oliver and Nick Martin both yesterday, is that the Gundy that we see, I mean, he's like doesn't seem like a Care Bear at all. Like he's a little, prickly and defensive, but that's not how he is with you guys at all, right?
Nah, total opposite guy. What y'all see is a whole different guy than what we get. We get like the more dad side of it. You know, he'll get on us if he needs to.
Oh, I'm sure, yeah.
But we get the caring dad side of it.
Do you think you can get him to change the hairstyle?
Nah.
Like could you even more rock and roll?
Nah. I think it's cool how it look. You got the little flow. The wind hit it, it'll flow. It's cool.
Okay.
You feel me?
What was the best advice? This is kind of a rant, but what was the best advice he ever gave you?
I would just say, Coach Gundy always told us, treat people the way you would want to be treated, and you never know what other people are going through. So I feel like that's huge, And another thing, he just said, whatever you do, if you do something wrong, you got to take it like a man. You know, you can't blame it on nobody else. You got to own up to it and put it behind you and go about it.
And you had to do that. You had to go through that. You had to just own it, and move on. The sooner you do it, the sooner it goes. It's always there, but it's going to go away.
Right.
But he didn't hide you from it either.
No,
he didn't hide you from it. He didn't it was right before media day. Like, he didn't hide you from it. And then he backed it. Like, he's very famous for backing players up. I'm a man. I'm 40.
Yeah.
But it looks weird to people who aren't in it. But for you guys, knowing that, all right, I know that he's gonna get after me because I did something wrong, but also he's gonna stand up for me because he cares about what comes next.
True, yeah. Through that whole situation, I never, doubted Coach Gundy. I knew he would have my back, and I knew I was gonna get a stern talk from him. So, I didn't really, I never, like I said, I never doubted him. I knew he'd be by my side the whole way. Right,
Was it one of those things like when I was a kid, if I did something wrong, I was always, my mom's going to spank me or she's going to backhand me, or you wait till your father gets home, but you just did not want to have that conversation with your father because you never wanted to disappoint him?
Right. Yeah, that's really, it was really more of a him texting. Like, I texted him, but it was kind of like I just wanted to go ahead and tell him rather than him finding out from the media. And it's like, you didn't want to talk to me. So I was like, nah, I'm just going to let him know. Especially with the bond we have with Coach Gundy. He always tells us we can come talk to him about anything.
Good.
Football related or not. So.
Well, you got about a month between now and when the draft is, a little bit more than that. Then, good Lord, just enjoy it, soak it in. I hope you're doing that.
Yes, sir. You got to.
Ollie Gordon, award-winning running back, Oklahoma State, 365 Sports.